Okay, we just suck today.
Today.
Look, it doesn't matter who's in the East. Because if LeBron makes it from the 7th seed to the finals, it's a wrap.
And he gave all the smoke, and all the smoke ran away.
Welcome to Her Sports Convo with Ashleigh Williamson.
Hey y'all, welcome back. Crazy to see you here again. I hope you had a good week last week. I hope you have a good week this week. If you've already read the title or if you're watching it on YouTube, you see we have a guest here, and let me tell you, it's only half of Talk That Sport, but I mean, one half is better than none. CJ here is with us today, and we're going all in on the NBA play-in tournament, the NBA playoffs. We're giving a little bit predictions. You know, we're talking about the things that are going on in the NBA. I know y'all are sick and tired of my awful predictions, so I've decided to have someone else up here, so maybe they can also have some awful predictions with me. Everyone say hey to CJ.
Hey, everybody. Hi, how you doing? Ash, we're super excited to be on here today. Well, it's just me.
Oh, I do that all the time. It's always just me. And I'm like, yeah, y'all, we are having a good time today. And it's like,
it's a family gathering. We're all here together. We have the better half of Talk That Sports today. So
okay, so as you know, the season is over. Now, y'all are listening to this on Thursday. And as y'all already know, it's halfway over by now. So So, you know, everything we say, y'all are going to be probably sitting here judging us like, yeah, that didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. And they were very wrong about this. And that's okay. That is perfectly fine. Because that's what you come here for, is the bad predictions, you know? So yes. The season's over, technically. You know, half of everybody else, they're gone to vacation. They're on Cancun. They're laying back. They're chilling with their kids that they haven't seen in months, especially, you know, the people from Toronto. They were in Florida half the year now.
I forgot they were in Orlando.
And so what overall feelings do you have from like the season this year?
I'm really, honestly, we're glad it's over. I was so tired of the regular season. It was dragging along. I was like, oh my God, can we just get to the playoffs? I'm tired of watching all the bad teams play. I didn't want to see Minnesota anymore. I didn't want to see, who else was there? Chicago. There's a bunch of teams I was just tired. Toronto, Orlando. I was like, just get off my screens. Give me all the good teams and let me roll.
I mean, I completely agree. Like the few podcast episodes again, I was like, this is obviously the boringest season ever. I know I went like 2 weeks straight, didn't watch one single game. And then every game that I did choose to watch, like Jamal Murray got hurt, somebody else got hurt, you know, Zion broke his like pinky finger or whatever. Like, I'm like, is it me? Am I the problem here? Should I not be tuning in anymore? They tried to cram a whole season into like 4 months. And like, it felt like you tried to cram a whole season in 4 months and everyone was acting like, we want a break. Like everyone needs a break. And instead of giving them an off season, they gave them a spring break. They gave them a Christmas break. They gave them 2 weeks and they're like, okay, let's wrap it up and get it going. And even the teams like Orlando or Chicago with like a lot of young players that they drafted and they were depending on those young players to like be good. They got drafted in November and started playing in December. Like, it's not, what were you expecting?
And you got to think some of these players hadn't played in almost a year, over a year, really, because pandemic started only about 8-9 months. It was close. Yeah. It was close. They had barely any time playing. And it looked like it at first too, especially coming off of it. And like I said, you cram so much into so little, and then there was no fans at the game, so like it just didn't feel the same. You didn't have the same excitement. Like it just, for me, it wasn't there.
All the excitement came from the like off the court drama. Like you had the Karen lady who was like fighting with LeBron.
Yeah.
You had like the what was it? This week it was Bradley Beal and Ken Bazemore. They were arguing over Twitter. Like all the good excitement and things that have happened this season have came from nothing that had to do with anything that happened.
Nothing on the floor. Everything has just been like off the floor, and it's like, okay, can we just get some exciting? Now, we did have some exciting moments this year in the court, but LaMelo was my favorite thing this whole season, and then he breaks his wrist. And I'm like, yo, really, Melo? Really? As I get into you, I bought the jersey. I don't know why.
Like everyone fell in love with the Hornets announcers because people started buying League Pass because people wanted to see the Charlotte Hornets because they're like, nobody around here. I say here, I live in North Carolina.
Yeah, I got you.
For those who don't know, they we get it for free, but before this year, who has been watching the Charlotte Hornets? I didn't even know. I kid you not, y'all, real talk. We are able to see every single Carolina Panthers game on Channel 5 if you have DirecTV, Channel 9 if you have, I think it's Channel 9 if you have DirecTV, Channel 5 if you got like Suddenlink or something like that. And I kid you not, I literally said out loud, why do they force us to watch every Carolina Panthers game? But I can't even watch LaMelo. I go to the internet and I'm like, what channel, because you know how sometimes they play on NBA TV, but if it's in your market, you can't watch it on NBA TV. You have to watch it on your own channel. So I go to NBA TV. I'm like, oh, yes, I can watch LaMelo and Friends. Go to the channel. They're like, this is blacked out in your area. Go to your area's channel. I was like, oh, there is a channel. Oh, okay, my bad. That's how you can tell that nobody around here cared about the Charlotte Hornets prior to Melo's arrival.
I mean, really, there has not been much to do in Charlotte since Kemba left.
I mean, Kemba leaving, and people were like halfway out of Kemba because they were like, Kemba's great, but everyone else is trash, so why am I going to go? Like, people tuned in when like LeBron came to town or Steph came to town or like all that stuff, and then it really hasn't helped since like Cam left because like at least Cam Newton was bringing in like the famous people coming to town to watch the game. It just hasn't been good at all. But yeah, the NBA they've been struggling this season with I know their audience retention is like 20%. They're like, oh, people really only tune in to see the halfway good teams, and then the halfway good teams either play so good that the team they're playing, it's like 20 points, or they play so bad that the other team is playing 20 points. You're just sitting there like when the Nets, they lost to the Raptors or like almost lost to the Raptors in that game. And I was like, the Raptors, Kyle Lowry, they had his bags packed. Everybody thought Kyle Lowry was leaving town. And then they're like, oh no, you're staying here. Okay. Y'all lost to them. They can't even figure out who's on the roster or not.
Look, a couple days ago, the Mavericks played the Raptors, and Kyle Lowry didn't play, Pascal didn't play. Basically, all the good players, Fred VanVleet didn't play. We almost lost to a bunch of scrubs. It was a close game. I was like, wait. The score was 114 to 110. Who played? Kyle must went off today. Oh, Kyle did not play. Coach did not play. Coach. Okay, we just suck today. Today. Look. Okay, look, we're not gonna do it. 33 and 16 the last couple of the game. We're ready. We ready for the playoffs. We ready. And I need you and your bad JoJo not to watch any of the Mavericks games. Don't need Luka hurt no pinky. Don't need Kristaps already fragile. He like wet paper. He just tear.
I mean, you are offending wet paper. Wet paper can at least be strong enough to get wet and then fall apart. He steps on the court and he's like, "Oh my god,
my ankle, my knee, my back."
Like this, I can't with Kristaps Porzingis.
No, when we traded for him, we were all like, we good. We got KP, match him up with Luka. Now we're like, yo, I see what New York had a problem with him. Dude can't stay on the court at all. Like 10 games, 15 games, and he's gone for like 30. So we'll gotta see what we'll do. Hopefully Bradley Beal comes there next year.
Let's see. But today they announced that Monty Williams is the Coaches Association Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. How do we feel about that?
I freaking love it. Monty got a bad rap in New Orleans. All right. I've been a Monty stan for a long time. All right. I love Monty. I love that bald, shiny head he got on him. That nice goatee, the little salt and pepper in it. That's my guy. He deserved it. I mean, I think a lot of that transition of that team was with Chris Paul, but you still got to have somebody guide that ship. And now you have a veteran coach and a veteran leader to able to get them all the way up to the 2 seed in the conference. It really should have been the 1 if DA hadn't went out the last couple games of the season. Think about it, Phoenix hasn't been good in years, like since D'Antoni and Nash era. Nope. And that's been almost a decade. Like, if people just forget, that was a long time ago.
That was like a better portion of my life.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how old you were then. That was high school for me. And I was like, oh God, like, the Suns have been trash ever since. So for Monty to get him there and for them to give Monty the time to let him grow his program there, there was no better deserving guy for the award this season. I don't care who it was. Like Nash had a super team. Ty Lue, not really. There was not that many coaches that had a chance to get there. This put the resume that Monty had up.
If you gave it to Steve Nash is the definition of a figurehead. Like, literally, Kyrie said, "Oh, we'll see. Like, I'm running the team. Steve's gonna have to bring his decisions by me to decide what I'll be doing because I'm doing whatever the chakras tell me to do today."
He's like saging. He's like, Steve, I don't know. I got bad vibes about this. Right? I'm gonna take 2 weeks off.
I gotta hop on some Zoom calls with some people. And this game is really disturbing my meetings. So I'll see y'all next week.
That's when I knew it was over for Steve Nash in Brooklyn. It's like when they were like, have you talked to Kyrie? He was like, no, Kyrie talked to us when he's ready. Wait. Dude missed 2 days of practice. You ain't talked to him yet? Nah, I don't care how much money you make. Kyrie, what's the problem? You got a game tomorrow. You coming? Okay, somebody sick? But we just saw you at a birthday party and COVID protocols. So who's sick? You got COVID? We good. Nah, I can't do this with that team. I mean, probably the only other person I consider is Doc in Philly. Because like he's unlocked Embiid. Like he's made Embiid what Embiid should have been. And to be honest, it wasn't Embiid's fault he wasn't there. He had a horrible coach the last 4 years. Like Brett Brown is a terrible coach. Like don't get me started on Brett Brown. Terrible of a coach. So he needed to go. So like, yeah, but Monty, Doc, but Monty just really did it. I was hoping he won it. I was really rooting for him. I was like, if they give to Quinn Snyder, I swear to God, I'm done with the NBA. Because I thought that may happen. I thought maybe Quinn. I thought they may give it to who in the East? Oh, Tibbs. I thought they may give it to Tibbs to get New York back into the playoffs.
I mean, if you can't give it to someone because really it's Julius Randle and like he just happens to be the coach of the team. You know what I mean? Like it's Julius Randle and shout out to Theo Pinson, UNC, like internet sensation, bringing the bench up, keeping everybody delighted and happy. He's got campaigns for him to have a lifetime deal now with the Knicks. Like people actually care about the Knicks now. And I tell you, if you would have told me last year when they were in the bubble that people would be talking about the Knicks in May, almost June, I've been like talking about them about what? Somebody bought their team to help them figure it out. Help them how to be a basketball franchise.
Are they trying to get the number one overall pick again? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, no, the Knicks,
I'm kind of sad now because, that was like the best part about the lottery was that it was like, oh, how close are the Knicks going to get to almost getting the number one overall pick? And now it's like, they don't even have any balls. Like, this isn't even fun.
One of my buddies is a big Knicks fan. Like, we haven't been cool for, I don't know, almost 20 years now, since we were younger, third grade. He's a big Knicks fan. So the Zion lottery happens. So we're texting back and forth. He's like, bro, I think it's it. And then that third pick came. He called me immediately. He was like, it's rigged. It's rigged, bro. Like, how? I was like, it's perfect. I'm like, well, sometimes, New Orleans needs a superstar.
and now they claim that their superstar got hurt because of the league. Like people should not be refereeing Zion the way they referee, I don't know, Skinny McSkinny on any other team. He's a large individual. A foul should be a foul, no matter if you're 300 pounds or 125 pounds soaking wet in the ice bathtub, whatever they call that thing. But if his finger was hurt, y'all knew y'all weren't going to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He should be sitting on the bench. Like, do you not know how to, well, I take that back. They obviously don't know how to handle their franchise player as, people are running away from New Orleans, i.e. Chris Paul, just absolutely darted out of town. Figure out how to handle your star player. Because what you don't hear, the Jazz complaining about Donovan Mitchell, his hurt ankle because they don't have him play every game. Every game does not mean the same thing in the NBA. It's not like the NFL. Every player doesn't have to play. Y'all play 945 games. Like every game doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like they have to figure it out. And it's part of the coach, like Stan or Jeff Van Gundy. That's the one. Stan's the brother. No.
Oh, Stan's the coach.
Stan, yeah. Stan's
Jeff's the announcer.
Yeah. Stan, he can take some part in that, but like, y'all know the team is ran up to down, and it's a lot going on there. But
I like guys, I swear we're probably going to get to basketball. We're talking basketball, all right? We're just look. I like this. I like this conversation. All right, I love it. All right. So I think the organization is going the right way. I think David Griffin is a hell of a GM. I didn't like the Stan hiring. I really didn't like Stan Van Gundy down there because like Stan's a good coach though. Stan should have been the coach for that Miami team in 2006 to beat the Mavericks. Still mad about it. But this is what I would say about that. I heard what they said about Zion in the calls when David Griffin came out and said, you got to defend your guy. Yada. But if I'm like Stan, if I'm David, I'm like, go look at videos of Shaq and Bron. Not young Bron. I'm talking like 09 to 16 Bron. And look how, like, so they had two different ways they got fouls called on them. Shaq would just drag you to the rim and then dunk with you. And yeah, Shaq was just like brute force. That may not work for Zion. You know what LeBron did? He made sure you knew you touched him. LeBron, bam! Oh, Lord, I got shot. Oh, what happened? He elbowed me in the chest. LeBron, 2 free throws. That's what Zion's got to do. He is 6'6". He's a North Carolina guy, right? Not North Carolina University, but North Carolina State.
No,
right?
Zion came from like South Carolina.
My bad.
There's a difference. There's a difference between North Carolina and South Carolina.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. That border's there for a reason.
Exactly.
He just has to really look at those two guys and change his game to the modern NBA. And they have to use them better. But he's got to take better care of his body. Once they take care of that, if Zion can, I just want Zion to talk to Brian. I know Brian's one of those guys that like to have people underneath him and like mentor him. He needs to talk to Brian one summer and say, Brian, what do I need to do to get my body right? If Zion can just drop 10 pounds and get cut, it's over for the league, bro. It's over. Hall of Famer. I'm talking about the West. I don't care how good Luka is. You can't stop a 6'6", 285-pound train coming down the lane. Luka's good, but he ain't that.
Like Jayson Tatum was okay until he started calling people and asking for help. And now look at him. Like these players forget, like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that to Jayson Tatum. I know he's a dookie, y'all, but Jayson Tatum is really great. He's on my like top 10 players right now. And we're not gonna play Jayson Tatum like that. If y'all are watching this that he's giving me right now, you would think I have 2 heads. You would think I have 2 heads.
Are we talking top 10 young players or top 10?
Young. We're not talking about no.
Okay. I'm talking about the league right now. It's like Tatum?
No. We're talking about the young.
I can't get free throws, Tatum. Okay, never mind. I'm leaving Tatum alone. Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, we're not talking. No. Oh my gosh. I would be canceled if he was in my top 10.
I was like, look, I don't know what y'all do up there in North Carolina, but I need some of it. Just send me a package, wrap it up real tight. Just send it to me. Send it to me, sis. We good.
Yeah, I would be canceled if I can't even get my words together anymore, y'all. If this is too much.
I'm sorry. I just heard it and I was like, wait, what? Hold on. I didn't hear that right. Okay, I was making sure my earphones are still working. Okay, my bad. Yeah, Tatum, he did. He got to Kobe. Kobe told him how to be not pass the ball.
That's not true. That's so true because he does not pass the ball anymore. That's how he scored 50 points.
Jaylen Brown. He looks at Jaylen Brown. He's like, no. He looks at Marcus Smart. No.
I mean, I would look at Marcus Smart and be like, no.
Look, because if Marcus Smart get that ball, Marcus Smart ain't never seen a jump shot he didn't want to take. He's like, 35 feet. Got it. No, Marcus Smart's my guy. I love Marcus Smart. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the options technically, but like there has been a change in the last 2 years of JT. And then his numbers have got better, but his game has changed a lot. And I'm like, I don't know if this is for the worse or the better. I do like Tatum as a guy. I do like Tatum.
Okay, so the play-in. I know I know this is probably like 30 minutes in, and they're like, who is still here? If you're still here, tag us, tag me, tag Talk That Sport, and even if you're watching on YouTube, put in the comment, I'm still here, because that'll be interesting to see. Sorry. I know my mom is still here. That's all that matters. That matters. We got the Hornets and the Pacers.
Yeah, have you checked the score?
No.
Okay, don't. I checked it right before we came on. So Hornets and Pacers. I really love Melo. So obviously I'm going for Charlotte. But they're so streaky. Like either they're really good at shooting the ball or they're just really dead. And they go as Melo goes. And I just don't think it's the year for them. They edged into the 10 seed. Indiana's older, more experienced. They have veteran guys like Brogdon, who's been there in the fire. They've had Sabonis, who's been through the fire. They've had Karis LeVert, and Karis LeVert's looking like a steal.
He's in health and safety protocols.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him the other day after a game.
No, they announced it like 2 hours before the game started. They're like,
darn. Well, never mind. They don't have Karis. they have those blue guys like McConnell and Dougie Buckets. I love Doug McDermott. That's my guy. I love him. His 3-point stroke. But we have guys like that who are just intense and play good defense. Defense will win you games, and especially in a 1 game in playoff scenario. So I see Indiana just really not. I see Indiana being an 8 seed. I see they beat whoever loses the Boston Washington match tonight.
Wow.
I'm that bold.
That is a strong announcement. I do agree that the Hornets are not gonna, get there because they're led by a 19-year-old. I mean,
a really good 19-year-old though.
But at the end of the day, he is still 19 years old.
Yeah, he is. 19.
Even though he owns a $10.5 million mansion. If you haven't seen that YouTube video with that manager, don't watch it. It's gonna hurt your feelings. It's gonna hurt your feelings, y'all.
That he didn't pay for with his NBA money.
Exactly.
It's his Puma money.
Don't watch it. It's gonna hurt your feelings.
I want to see it now.
He's gonna watch it and then he's gonna like send me and he's gonna be like, "You're right."
You're gonna get a message and be like, "Yo, why did I do that? I feel in my house, walking around my 1,300 square feet. This is not enough."
We need to level up.
Back.
Just to let y'all know, I really don't plan on editing this because I want y'all to get the realness here. So you're catching all this sidebar conversation, y'all. And the it was NFL draft. That podcast episode, when I tell you that like maybe 2 minutes, I was talking about Travis Etienne and the bar in his house. If you watch that beam that was going, I talked about that for 7 minutes, and it was only a 30-second clip in that podcast. That's how much I cut out. It was a real on HGTV review.
We need all those goodies. All right, we need all those. Release the Ashleigh cut. All right, I'm gonna hashtag it in every video from now on. Release the Ashleigh cut after every video.
I mean, if y'all watch all the way to the end, I always put a little blooper. It's maybe 10 seconds, but so make sure y'all are watching past the end screen because you get a little. Y'all who watch all the way, you get a little taste.
Okay, editing game, sis. I like that. A little spruce, spice. I like it.
Y'all are gonna get one out of this because you're getting it all now. So
we're here.
So here we go, y'all. We're getting this train back on track. Celtics and the Wizards.
It ain't Tatum. They look downright embarrassing. They look downright embarrassing the last 4 games. I mean, I know JB's out, and JB means a lot to that team. But no, they don't have anything else. It's Jayson, and then literally Kemba, no knees. Tristan, I ain't gonna start with Tristan Thompson.
Exactly, not today. We don't have the time.
Today. Not today, Tristan. And then Robert Williams, Aaron Neesmith. It's just not a good roster. they have a heck of a coach. And me and Jordan were talking about this a couple weeks ago. And we just think that this mismatches is dried up. That situation is dried up a little bit. I think Danny made a mistake keeping both JB and Tatum together. Wow. And I think it's just the end of that road for that duo. Some duos you can, like CJ and Dame, I think they're a third person away.
Yeah. I
think if they had got Jokic versus Nurkic, which they couldn't have gotten that trade, but if they got Jokic, that team would be a championship contender. But I think with those two guys, they were drafted a year apart, and I can believe that they both think they're as good as the other. And you can't have two young stars like that. You can have an old star and a young star. You can have an old star and a young star like that. But you can't have two guys the same age talking about like, oh, I'm the second best player on this team. No, neither one of them want to say it. So when it comes to this game against Washington, I think Russ in these games has a different gear, and it means stuff from different to him. I think Bradley.
His wife is on the internet scaving off all these haters every week. He's like, I can't be proving my wife wrong. And she's over here fighting all the Instagram trolls every day.
I tell you something about a husband. I'm happily married. You don't want to get embarrassed. You don't want to embarrass your wife out in public, all right? If my wife out there, and my wife will be that wife. I'm not going to play professional sports. My wife be cussing out people on Instagram. She would be just like Cortland Finnegan's wife. All on Twitter, all right? Just letting y'all know. Don't step to me. Because Mrs. Jones right behind me, she about that life. So, no, I think, Russell's out to prove something. I think Bradley wants it, because his team everybody was talking about them tanking and trading Bradley. And Bradley wants to take his team like, we could build something here with Bertans, with Danny Avdija, if we can get good draft picks. And then if they win, they're the 7. So that's even better. So like they're here, and then they get to go against. They're gonna get swept by Brooklyn, but it's good to get a playoff win.
Exactly.
It's a building block.
They still get paid more because they got in the playoffs, so it's fine.
Exactly.
You can lose all 4 games in a row, and you still get your playoff bonus.
I'll take that back. They won't get swept. Russell won't let them get swept. They'll get one. One.
Bradley Beal will be back under the bleachers retrieving the ball before he lets them get swept.
But I do like this team's resilience, and that's why I think they have something different about them, because they started from and they had the COVID protocols. The season was against them, all right? Oh. The season was against them from the beginning, right? And then they find themselves in the 8th seed against a team that's struggling, a team that has no identity. And like I said, I think they're just going to push past them really easy. To get to the 7th seed, and then I think Boston loses to Indiana, just to get over, and Boston goes on.
And I just don't see Boston pulling out, because all they got is Jayson Tatum, and that man is tired. Wouldn't you be tired? You've been carrying the whole team since Jaylen Brown left. His back is tired. You can't blame the boy. And Brad Stevens is okay, but I don't think Brad Stevens can coach this new Jayson Tatum. I don't think he can, because I think he still sees him as what he was when he was first drafted, or those first few years, and he's excelled past that, and he can't coach him with that now, and he especially can't coach him with Kemba and with Jaylen Brown, because if you watch those games, they all relatively look like they're playing the same position, and you can't do that. Nobody knows where they're supposed to be. They need somebody to go there and be like, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. This is what we're going to buy into this season. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we'll try something else. But Brad Stevens is still stuck in the fact that, I have Gordon Hayward. I have whoever was on the team past that. Nobody cares. But he won't like turn it around and see what he has now and fix it. And I think that's what's really holding them back. It's definitely going to be the Wizards and the Pacers coming out of the East.
Watch it be the Celtics and the dang Charlotte Hornets, and we're going to be sitting looking like, how did this happen? Did this happen?
Well, yeah. So just to let y'all know, I'm going to be popping over to Talk That Sport. Again, this episode's all over the place. I'm supposed to be doing this at the end. We have a whole nother side going on. Wow. Yeah, I'll be over there to give all my, playoff, play-in, recap, all that stuff, because that's what we do here. We give and we receive.
Yeah, we're going back and forth. This is a combo platter.
Okay, we got the Lakers and the Warriors. You know, I don't know how many things were sacrificed for this game to be happening. I wish I could see Adam Silver. I don't know what he sacrificed. He probably sacrificed a lamb, a calf.
Adam Silver had a bottle of $16,000 champagne, and he popped that when that happened. He had the most expensive liquor there was. He had a glass. He had a big fat steak. He's like, I'm about to get paid, and he loves it. He loves it. I think we love it. All right, and I'm excited because LeBron James is my favorite player of all time. I'm gonna go out there and say that, and this paves the way. And you're gonna hear it from me first for the greatest championship in NBA history. This paves the way for it. Not only will he have to go through the NBA scoring champ, all right, and Steph Curry, and his arch nemesis, the Golden State Warriors, all right, he gets to knock them down. Then he gets to go destroy Chris Paul, break his best friend's heart. Okay, whatever. Chris, nobody cares about. Even though Monty, good job, Monty, but you're losing in the first round. Then he gets to go play either Dame, he gets to break Dame's heart, or he gets to break Jokic's heart. And if he gets plays, and I hope it's Jokic, because then he gets to beat the MVP. All right, because Jokic is going to win the MVP. So then he beats Jokic for the MVP. Then we're going to find who's there waiting for him. Oh, it's the Clippers, the people who dodged him for the first round. So he gets to go break LA's other heart. All right, the little smidge of LA that roots for the Clippers. All right, and then it doesn't matter who's in the East, because if LeBron makes it from the 7th seed to the finals, it's a wrap. It's going to be a breeze. It does not matter. And LeBron James will sit there at the podium and be like, that's 5. And this was our championship ever won. So I don't even need to predict the rest of it because LeBron's smacking everybody. All right.
Well, it's 30 for 30. If somehow you work here, you found your way here by some odd chance. There's your story outline. Jordan, CJ is going to need his credit. You're probably going to have to give some to Jordan too, because
I just want executive producer credit. That's
he's going to need some credit. You probably have to give a little to Jordan too, since he's not here. But they're a duo, and you're definitely going to have to give me some. So
if it's a deal breaker, he don't need to know. But I'm really excited for that game. I am really excited for Steph. I think it's one of those games where you got to watch from the beginning to the end. I've made my work schedule around this game tomorrow, making sure I don't have any appointments past 7:30. I'm literally coming home, getting a nice cold beer. We canceled tomorrow's show. We moved it to Thursday for this game because I want to watch this game. So yeah, that's how it happens.
Wow.
So yeah, it's going to be exciting. But the Warriors, they just don't have the firepower. Now, I still think the Warriors get into 8.
Yeah, I wouldn't. They're definitely getting in.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Memphis Grizzlies. Their little story. You got Josh Jackson. You got John Morant. They're so nice, and they don't really do anything. They hype everyone up on the internet. You don't really see drama coming out of Memphis. And the Spurs are kind of like, who quite? My question is, who is like really thinking of the Spurs? Honestly, I was like, who are the Grizzlies playing against? And then they're like the Spurs, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about them. Like, yeah, DeMar DeRozan, like, he's great, but who's really keeping up with the Spurs?
So boring to watch. Like, the Spurs are just like, nothing about the Spurs like lights a fire inside me.
That's why that game is coming at 6:30 your time. Why people are driving home from work or making their dinner or putting their kids to bed.
And I like this Memphis team. Like everything you said, they're so friendly. They're putting people on social media. They do so much for the community. But like this Memphis team versus the last Memphis team we had in the playoffs, they were some dogs. Mm-hmm. Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, like that grind city, them grinders. And this team is just not that team. They're just a different roster of guys. And they're so young. And if I want to see if they're different than last year when they have the one game playing with Portland.
Mm-hmm. I think if they get like a Joe Harris, like a down in the mud, dogging every play out, I think they could definitely make a big run.
Yeah, I think they're like a Joe Harris. I think they're like a what's that boy? What's that guy? My guy is gonna be a free agent this year. I'm blank. Akuz. I think Akuz will fit over there. Perfect for them. Some lankiness. Who's a streaky shooter, but like that somebody can just not make them look for Ja to always be the shot maker.
Mm-hmm.
With Ja shown, and I'm a Ja guy. I love Ja. I love the hair. I want a Morant jersey. I want the other one that he took off the website, but I want that one. But he can't, and he's proven in like the last 2 games, he could make a shot in the last 5 minutes of the game. He's proven, even the Dallas game where Luka, he just couldn't make shots.
Yeah.
And then last year against Portland, they were close, and then he folded. And when he folded, everybody else folded. But I will say this: if Jaren Jackson comes to ball against San Antonio, and then they play Golden State in the 8-9 matchup, I think it's much different. I think if Jaren Jackson's playing the way we know Jaren Jackson can play, and he's healthy because he's only played 10 games all season, and he's fully healthy, I don't know. Steph may have to sit at home with 31 points. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if I was Steph, I would try my best, put on for the TV shows. Adam called him and was like, hey, you gotta, I need to see 60 points out of you when you're playing LeBron, because I've paid so many advertisers for this game. If no one's watching by the fourth quarter, I'm going to have to go into witness protection program, so.
I think it's going to be a 4 or 5 point game in the fourth.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it is.
But yeah, I mean, I can see the Grizzlies really giving Golden State a good shot if, they get there. They have, I'm pretty sure I called Jaren Jackson Josh Jackson earlier, but it's fine. He knew what I meant.
That's such an insult to Jaren Jackson. He's like, wait, Josh Jackson?
It came from my heart. You can always come on Her Sports Convo and you can have a whole discussion about this of how to correctly, how to correctly. Exactly. How to correctly say your name. So we haven't disagreed on anything yet. Like, wow, this is great.
We're the same, and we're going to both be wrong. God, this is good, horrible.
That's the play-in tournament, y'all. We the people that are coming out the East over here, we got the Pacers and the Wizards that are coming out the East on this episode. Y'all are probably sitting there laughing your butts off. You're like, they're not even here, and it's Thursday. And then we got the Lakers and the Warriors coming out of the West. We're not even going to go into playoff predictions because this episode is long enough. But I did have to talk to someone about this Kwame Brown. I hope you know about it. This is the last thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Kwame Brown. Please stay. Please listen. This is going to be great. Okay. If you don't know, let me catch you up if you don't know, y'all. So we got Kwame Brown. He's played in the NFL back in the day. We don't have time to go down the storyline and everything, but he was a number 12 draft pick. He went to play with Michael Jordan, all that stuff. He didn't really work out. He was a flop. And, but he is getting a $200,000 pension a year. So is that really a flop? You know what I mean? He is been laying low all this time. And you got All the Smoke podcast. They really had Jeannie Buss up there. She was explaining how, they traded Kwame Brown to Memphis with Marc Gasol, who wasn't actually Marc Gasol. It was like Marc Gasol's pick. They traded in Memphis to get Pau Gasol. I know, that's crazy. And
stole him.
And then Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, they had their little tiff for task, and they were like, no, it really wasn't. It was just Marc Gasol who we traded, not Pau Gasol. And Jeannie Buss, shout out to Jeannie Buss. She did a great job of not getting herself deterred, and she stayed on track. They still got her point across. She did not. She was like, I'm not biting into it. I'm not eating it up. That's where all this started. Kwame Brown went to the interwebs and let people know. They let people know what happened, and he gave all the smoke, and all the smoke ran away.
That's what I was about to say. All the smoke didn't want no smoke. Did you see Matt Barnes? I don't know what I said to defend him. I'm like, Matt, you was out there throwing major shade at Kwame. All right, and Kwame's been good. Kwame knows that he's been guarded as a bust. Dude played 10 years in the league. All right, there's been other guys and Kwame was he wasn't a great player, but Matt Barnes act like he was some all-world player. You were at best a best defender off a bench. You were a 3-and-D guy. You were the 9th player off a bench. Steven Jackson, different player, right? Steven Jackson said stuff, then ran from it too. So I'm like, I can't be on your podcast talking tough. And then when Kwame, he was out there really catching strays. Kwame, I follow him on Instagram. I followed him for years on Instagram, right? He's a pretty chill guy. He's always talking about his kids, smoking cigars, playing golf. cooking food. He owns a catering company. That's all Kwame Brown does. And y'all come out randomly and be like, well, we just traded Marcus on Kwame really didn't count. Yeah, it's like, why? Why would you poke the bear? But Kwame was ready for it. You see what he posted today?
Oh, I was into it all when I knew that this was going to be the best thing I've seen all week. When he called Matt Barnes Becky with the good hair. I was like, okay. I was like, this is what I'm here for. This is the things I love to see out of NBA Twitter. This is what I subscribe to on the weekly basis. And let me tell you, if Kwame Brown had a Twitter account, I would have put some money in his tip jar if he had a tip jar. For that one, I would have put some money in his tip jar.
He's like, okay, Becky with the good hair. He calls her multiple times, called Matt Barnes that. And I was like, and Matt can't say nothing. Matt just like, you open your mouth first. You can't clap back. Are you trying to try to take a high road? No. And
then my thing is, okay, you do all this, and then the moment he calls you Becky with the good hair, the moment, he says some other things that we're not going to say on this podcast.
Yeah, we can't. I can't defend that.
You can go look all that up. I'll put it in the episode notes in the description if you really care to go see it, because we're not going to do that, you guys. But, he says some other things that weren't, really G-rated. I don't even think it was R. It was straight up RRR.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Brown's kind of deserved it, the way he was talking about him. Like, this man was living his life, having a good time, and y'all decided to like disturb it. But the thing I don't decide, because most times people do this, it would be Kwame Brown who starts the drama because he wants attention. Like, I see like all the smoke. People are always talking about all the smoke. Your clips are always running on the internet. It's like all the smoke. What are those people? Brandon Marshall and them. Like, y'all are always right there.
Yeah, right there, back and forth
every week. And you don't need it. Why did you? And then the fact that they knew that this was gonna like start something, because they hear the podcast episode before it goes out, and they decide to keep it in there. They could have literally muted their mics when they made that comment and just kept it going. Like,
they made it the clip on the Twitter account. It was the clip. So like they said, this week's show's out, and it was the freaking clip. And I was like, yo, like y'all knew what y'all were doing. Y'all knew y'all were starting some mess. And then the fact that they won't have Kwame on the podcast to talk it out, because like there's no better chance to have it. Like, okay, you have this beef. The first thing Steven said, well, come on the podcast. Let's talk about it. And let Kwame say some stuff.
Always saying is like every time they say something, they're like, okay, they can come on and talk about it. But the moment that the person you're talking about talks back to you and gives you all the smoke, then that's the moment you're running home to your mama.
It's wild. Like, it did get like, now it's a little too personal.
Way too personal.
Today, what's going now is too personal. I hope they like, at the end of the day, we want to see brothers get together with each other, squash it. Own your stuff, own your whatever you guys do, own it, and then move forward. I would love to see them do a 3-way podcast with. Actually, I want 4-way. I want Gilbert Arenas on there, because Gilbert Arenas said some crazy stuff too. I want GA.
Like,
yeah.
Nobody, come on now.
I want GA on there, because like he got his own personal stuff he had to deal with too. Arenas was not no saint. So I want GA, I want Steven, I want Matt, I want Kwame all on the podcast. And I think people stop coming for Kwame Brown. He's not the worst number one pick. He's not in the top 5 worst number one picks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not his fault that Michael Jordan decided to pick him. All right, because he wanted a center. All right, it's not his fault.
Well, it turns out that he wanted a center to trade, because they were going to trade him. For all y'all that didn't know that, and like he can't help that it was a bad business decision. He got to pay the repercussions for that. But could you imagine being like the head of your team is Charles Oakley and Michael Jordan? Wow.
Yeah, like, he was broken. Like I would be too. Charles Oakley yelling at me, and then Michael Jordan coming to practice and throwing basketball. Have you heard the basketball throwing stories?
Yeah.
Tell Kwame he's soft. Yeah, if Michael Jordan was throwing basketball at me, telling me I was soft, I'd be like, yes, I'm soft. I actually retire right now. Like the fact that my GM came down to practice to tell me I'm soft, it's just time for me to find it. I'm gonna be a cook.
I mean, like, no wonder why he probably got into catering to cope with the trauma.
He had to eat. He said, I just need to add calories. It's all good. No, but I love what Kwame Brown's done with his life since. I love how he owns who he is. And there's so many players who can't, especially dudes that come in. I know I'm done. This is my last time. I'm getting out. There's so many players that come in young, who 18, 19, go from high school or go for first year of college, to the league who then wash out the league and just don't know what to do with life. And they don't know how to handle. Kwame is a great situation. Somebody that he played 10 years in the league. He was never the best player in the world. He's never been the best player. People know him because he was a bust, but he's owned that. He's like, yeah, I was a bust, but I played 10 years in the league. I get $200,000 pension. like who? How many guys can say they played 10 years in the league? Matt Barnes can barely say he played 10 years in the league.
I mean,
barely.
People know Matt Barnes because of his girl being on Basketball Wives. Like, if we did a poll right now, people have been like, that's the one that had sis on Basketball Wives, right? And
or they know him from chasing Derek Fisher down the highway. All right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's multiple stories and none of them have to do with basketball.
Exactly.
We know Steven Jackson from the Mouths at the Palace, or we know him for he was on a team that smoked too much green in Oakland, all right? And that beat the Mavericks. So he's on the We Believe Warriors. So, yeah, they own their stuff. Let Kwame own his stuff. Kwame stays in his lane. Doesn't mess anybody. I think he stepped away from basketball. You don't see him commentating on a lot of basketball. He kind of just cleansed his life, and y'all shouldn't have to bring him into that. So that's all I gotta say. I'm all Team Kwame. If he makes shirts that say Team Kwame, I'll buy 2. And yes, I will do it. I love it.
We support Kwame Brown over here, and well, y'all, if somehow, some way, by the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you have made it to the end of this podcast.
Hallelujah.
We appreciate you, because that's going to be the end of this week's episode. Make sure to like, comment, rate, subscribe wherever you decide to get your podcast episodes. Give some love over there to Talk That Sport podcast. I love these guys. Shout out to Jordan. We really missed you. I know he's sitting here listening to this episode like, thank God I was not there, because this is a lot. This is a lot.
Like, why did I send TJ?
He was like, he was not the best representation of us. And now I have to form a formal apology to Ashleigh for this very long-winded episode. But it's fine, Jordan. We appreciate it. The content is here. The people are definitely having fun if they're listening to it. And go check these guys out. I'll be up there next week. It's going to be fun. If you like this, I have a very good feeling it's going to be very similar to this. So make sure to check them out. Go over to the YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. If you're already listening to the YouTube channel, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Again, the goal is 100 subscribers by September, and I really think we can do that. Tell your friend, tell your mama, tell your grandma, all those people. I mean, okay, probably don't tell your grandma because she's not my target audience, but tell your friend who has a grandma to watch the podcast, to do that. So that's close enough. And follow over there on Instagram at Her Sports Convo. I post things up there. There will probably be an IGTV of whatever I choose not to put in this episode because it's too good for it to go in the trash. So there you go. As always, have fun, be safe, and don't be afraid to join the convo. Now, if you're somehow by some chance still listening at this point, stop checking the game. Stop.
I didn't check the score. I didn't. I didn't do anything.